Hello and welcome, dear listeners. You are now listening to the Easy English Room podcast. Are you ready to take your English to the next level? Whether you are learning on the go or simply relaxing at home, this podcast will be your perfect companion to improve your speaking and listening skills step by step.
That's right. Welcome back to Easy English Room. I'm Emma, and today we're going to help you introduce yourself with confidence and clarity.
And I'm Henry. Today's episode is all about self-introductions. No more awkward pauses, no more feeling nervous or forgetting what to say. We will guide you so you can introduce yourself smoothly and naturally.
We've all experienced that moment, right? You're asked to introduce yourself in a new class, at a new job, or even at a social gathering, and suddenly your mind goes completely blank.
Yes, it happens to everyone. But don't worry. Today, we'll help you move past that feeling step by step.
Exactly. We will break everything down into simple parts so your next introduction feels easy and natural.
And before we begin, don't forget we have a free PDF guide. It includes useful vocabulary and practical tips you can use to build your perfect introduction.
Great. Now let's start with the basics. What is a self-introduction?
A self-introduction is simply a short way to tell people who you are. Imagine meeting someone for the first time. You want them to know about you, right? That's exactly what a self-introduction does.
Yes, it's like giving someone a quick preview of your life, almost like a movie trailer.
And it's important because it sets the tone for the whole conversation.
Without an introduction, things can feel awkward, but a good introduction breaks the ice and helps people feel comfortable.
And remember, you are the main character in your own story.
So, Henry, why is a self-introduction so important?
It all comes down to first impressions. You only get one chance to make a first impression.
That's very true. A good introduction can make you seem confident, friendly, and approachable.
But if you're unprepared, you might seem nervous or unsure.
And preparation really makes a difference.
When you know what to say, you feel calmer and more confident.
It's like using a map in a new city. Without it, you feel lost. With it, you know exactly where to go.
Now let's move on to how you can build a great self-introduction.
We'll go step by step, starting with the greeting.
In a formal situation, you can say hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening.
And remember, good night is only for saying goodbye.
Now, what about casual situations?
In a relaxed setting, you can say hi, hey, or even what's up.
Simple but very effective.
Next, let's talk about your name.
In casual situations, you can say, I'm Henry.
Or, hi, I'm Emma. Nice to meet you.
In more formal situations, you can say, my name is Henry.
Or, good afternoon. My name is Emma. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now let's talk about age.
You can say, I'm 30 years old, or simply, I'm 30.
If you prefer, you can be less specific and say, I'm in my late 20s.
Next, let's talk about where you're from.
You can say, I'm from Cairo, or I'm Egyptian.
You can also add more detail, like, I come from a small town.
Or I was born and raised in this city.
And if you moved, you can say, I grew up in one place, but now I live somewhere else.
Great. Now let's talk about education.
You can say, I studied business, or I have a degree in marketing.
If you're still studying, you can say, I'm currently studying English.
Now let's talk about work.
You can say, I work at a company, or I work in sales.
Or even, I'm a teacher.
Simple, clear, and effective.
Now, let's talk a little more about your experience and how you can describe it clearly. This part is very important because it shows what you have done before.
You can say, I have 5 years of experience, or I've worked in this field for 5 years. You can also say, I have several years of experience in this area, if you want to sound a bit more flexible. Or you might say, I've been working in this field for about 5 years, which sounds natural and conversational. You can even add more details, like what kind of work you did or what you learned during that time.
Yes, adding small details can really make your introduction stronger and more interesting.
For example, you can briefly mention your skills or the kind of tasks you usually do.
Exactly. And this helps people understand your background better. It also makes your introduction sound more complete and more professional.
Next, family. Now let's move on and talk about your family, which is another simple but nice part of an introduction.
You can say, I have one brother and one sister, or I'm an only child. You can also say, I come from a small family, or I have a big family, depending on your situation. Or you might say, I live with my family, or my family lives in another city.
That's right. And you don't need to go into too much detail. Just one or two simple sentences are enough to give a clear idea.
Yes, keep it simple and natural. The goal is to communicate clearly, not to make it too complicated.
Now let's talk about hobbies. This is a fun part because you can show your personality and interests.
You can say, I enjoy playing football. You can also say, I like playing football in my free time, which sounds a bit more relaxed.
Or, I love reading. You could also say, I love reading books, especially novels, if you want to add more detail.
Or, I'm really interested in music. You might also say, I'm really interested in music and I enjoy listening to different types of songs.
Yes, and you can add more hobbies if you want. For example, you can mention watching movies, traveling, or learning new things.
Talking about hobbies makes your introduction more personal and more engaging. It helps people connect with you more easily.
Now, let's talk about practice. This is one of the most important parts of improving your speaking skills.
Practice is very important. First, write your introduction using all these parts. Take your time and try to organize your ideas in a clear and simple way.
Then, practice in front of a mirror or record yourself. This helps you notice your pronunciation and your body language.
Listen carefully and improve step by step. Don't try to be perfect immediately. Just focus on small improvements each time.
You can also share your introduction with friends or online. Getting feedback from others can really help you improve faster.
The more you practice, the more confident you will become. Confidence grows little by little as you keep practicing regularly.
Confidence comes with repetition, so don't be afraid to repeat your introduction many times.
And remember, making mistakes is part of learning. Every mistake is a chance to improve and get better.
Exactly. So keep going and don't give up. Learning English is a journey, and practice is the key.
Thank you for joining us today on Easy English Room. We really enjoyed spending this time with you and helping you learn.
We hope this episode was helpful and easy to follow. We tried to keep everything simple, clear, and practical for you.
Keep practicing, and remember, your self-introduction is your moment to shine. It's your chance to make a great first impression.
So take your time, prepare well, and speak with confidence. You can do it with practice and patience.
See you in the next episode. We'll be back with more useful tips and simple lessons.
Take care, stay motivated, and keep learning. Keep improving step by step every day.
Bye, everyone, and thanks again for listening. We really appreciate your time and your effort.
Goodbye, everyone, and see you very soon in another episode.